Hello everyone, let me introduce myself. My name is Innocena Karanina from class 9F. Today, we will learn about the narrative text. After this presentation, we will understand what the narrative text is and how to form it correctly. Let's start and please pay attention. What is the narrative text? A narrative text is a type of text that tells a story or describes a sequence of events. The purpose of a narrative text is to entertain or inform the reader by presenting a series of events in a coherent and engaging way. So, what does the structure of narrative text look like? 1. Orientation. Orientation sets the stage for the story, introduces characters and settings. Ideally, the orientation should answer the question who, where, and when. So, when reading the orientation part, we should be able to identify the character and setting, but time and place of the story. 2. Complication. This section contains the problems or central conflict or challenge that occur within a story. It is divided into 3 parts, namely, rising action. Problems begin to emerge. Climax. Peak of the problem. Falling action. The tension of the problem begins to decrease and the solutions start to emerge. 3. Resolution. The resolution is the part of the narrative where they conclude the narrative and resolving the conflict. How does the story end? 4. Reorientation. Reorientation, also known as evaluation, is an optional component of a narrative text that serves to reflect on the story and its events, reinforcing the moral lesson or theme. Some narrative might include additional elements such as flashbacks, multiple perspective, or nonlinear timelines. Nevertheless, the basic structure described above provides a useful framework for understanding and analyzing narrative texts. Next, we will talk about the characteristics. What are the characteristics of narrative text? 1. Using past tense. Narrative text often contains past tense because they typically recount events or stories that have already occurred. 2. Using adverbial of time. Narrative texts often use adverbials of time to provide a clear structure and sense of progression to the story. 3. Using adjective. Adjective are words that describe or modify noun, or put it simply, adjective are words that give more information about a noun, such as its color, shape, size, characteristic, etc. In narrative text, adjectives help create a more detailed and vivid story. 4. Using noun phrases. A noun phrase is a group of words that contains a noun along with any accompanying modifiers such as adjective, adverb, or other nouns that provide more information about the main noun. Noun phrases help create detailed and vivid description in stories. Types of narrative text. There are lots of different kinds of narrative text, such as fictional narrative. A fictional narrative is a story that is not based on real events or real people. It can be a novel, short story, fable, or fairy tale. Autobiography. An autobiography is a narrative text that tells the life story of the author, written from a first-person perspective. Biography. A biography is a narrative text that tells the life story of someone other than the author, written from a third-person perspective. Memoir. A memoir is a narrative text that focuses on a particular period or event in the author's life, often written from a first-person perspective. Legend. A legend is kind of a folklore. It's a traditional story that has been passed on for generations. It often explains the origin of a particular culture or society. Example of narrative text. The type is legend under title. The Legend of Malin Kundang.